Let me extend a warm welcome to everyone. In May 2011, at a meeting of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Inter-American Division region, the Secretary General of the International Religious Liberty Association, Dr. John Grass, indicated that it is high time for Jamaica to host a festival of religious freedom. According to Dr. Grass, Jamaica was always on the radar to host this event, as the freedom that exists in Jamaica is an example of true freedom of religion, where each individual can choose their religion and even choose not to embrace any religion, to change their religion without being discriminated, arrested, assassinated, or executed for blasphemy or apostasy. We are one of the most tolerant societies where religion is concerned. After much discussions locally, a few logistical challenges, and a change of date, January 24, 2015 was selected as the date that Jamaica would celebrate its first festival. And today, we thank God that we can present the plans and activities for this historic day. The event, though new to Jamaica, is not new to the world, as countries covering 6 continents of the world have staged it, inviting government and civic leaders to join thousands of people from the various religious groups and civil society in large auditoriums, arenas, parks, and stadiums to publicly say thanks to God and a country for freedom of religion. The event is spearheaded by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which has been at the forefront of religious liberty worldwide since 1893 and has been integrally involved in organizing these festivals with other religious groups worldwide since 2005. The objectives of the festival are: 1, to celebrate freedom of religion by all religious denominations in Jamaica; 2, to raise the awareness of the need to be vigilant in guarding our current freedom of religion and worship, as freedom of religion or belief is also intimately intertwined with other freedoms, including freedom of expression, association, and assembly. Number 3, to launch the National Religious Liberty Association, which will be an affiliate of the International Religious Liberty Association. At the end of this Jamaica Festival, our desired outcome is to have the religious society, one that helps to reinforce and cement the respect for each other's right to religious freedom and the privilege we enjoy in worshiping according to the dictates of our conscience. It is very appropriate that this laudable outcome be launched from this region, because we are devoid of the kind of sectarianism and various other forms of extremist behavior that are tearing apart the lives of people of different faiths in other parts of the world. Perhaps the best way to view the religious freedom that we have in Jamaica is to juxtapose it to having limited or no freedom at all. Without it, the enormous positive impact of the church and religious denominations will be lost. They would not be able to operate schools, hospitals, and impact communities through humanitarian efforts, which have significantly enhanced the growth and development of Jamaica. Interestingly, even persons who are not of any religious persuasions or do not attend church would be affected, because they too are among the beneficiaries of the positive influence on society by the various religious groups. We are therefore inviting all members of the various religions, government, civic, diplomatic, and civil society to participate in the festival, and we expect a full national arena with maximum capacity of 7,000 persons. We have support from all the churches and groups that make up the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches, and which represents 95% of Christians in Jamaica. We also have on board some members of the Jamaica Council for Interfaith Fellowship that involve other religions such as Jews, Baha'i, Hindus, and the Unification Church, to name just a few. The day's program, which starts at 9 a.m., will include a dramatization titled Free to Believe, Stories of Courage and Faith, which is scripted by Ms. Kean Vaz, and she is present here. And this will highlight personal stories of how individuals stood up for their beliefs in challenging situations, occasionally in Jamaica at workplaces and tertiary institutions. It will also involve the program, a brief history of religion in Jamaica, a timeline of when the various religious groups started. It will also include the theology of religious liberty and highlights of world and regional religious freedom. The main speaker for the morning will be Pastor Glenn Samuels, international evangelist and speaker of the Word of Hope television broadcast on TVJ. The afternoon program will include messages and presentations from our civic, government, and church leaders, recognition and award to successive governments for keeping the tenets of the Constitution for religious freedom intact over the past 50+ years. And in this, according to a CEO of one of Jamaica's large corporate group, she did say that over time, we have beat up the government so much, it is time to recognize them for doing something good. And we're going to recognize successive governments for doing this good thing, a very good thing, in keeping the constitutional rights for freedom of religion. We will also give awards to a private sector entity, a church organization, and a public watchdog organization for their role in adhering to the principles of religious freedom. A presentation will be done on Section 17 of our Constitution. Then we'll have the launch of the National Religious Liberty Association, and our guest speaker will be Ambassador Robert Seipel, President of the IRLA, and the first ever U.S. Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom. What would be a celebration without good, melodious, inspirational singing? In addition to the various choirs, groups, and individuals drawn from the various religious groups that will sing throughout the program, the day will climax with even more. There will be a free, and I will repeat, free gospel musical showcase with a 150-voice mass choir and various individual gospel artists such as George Gordon, Judy Mowat, Kerry Sales, Jabez, who is here with us, the visually impaired Camellia Candy Isaac, she is also here, and many other singers. Today, I invite everyone who enjoys religious freedom to give thanks to God and country by being a voice for freedom. It is also appropriate once again to ask ourselves, were it not for freedom of religion, where would we as country, religious believers and families and individuals be today? Where would the church, the voice of moral authority, be? By our presence at the national arena, you will say, like Usain Bolt, Jamaica to the world. We celebrate to emphasize the importance of this God-given freedom, and it is that voice of freedom that will ring out from here in Jamaica to the world. We celebrate because while we do, we give thanks for what we have, because millions around the world cannot, and hundreds are being killed or imprisoned because of their belief in their God. We celebrate because according to the 2000 census report, 80% of Jamaicans are affiliated or belong to a religious group, and religion is still the center of our national life. While we celebrate, we will also express our sympathy and give support to those who are not as privileged, whether by government or other socio-religious groups. In closing, because of the worrying statistics in religious freedom globally, which according to a Pew report shows 76% of the world population having serious religious infringements, religious freedom becomes more and more important in the world each day. It is important because it is the first basic human right given, not by governments or people, but by God himself, and it undergirds all other human rights. Freedom of religion is such an important aspect of our country's political, economic, and social platform. It is important to anyone and everyone, everywhere. This is why the Festival of Religious Freedom is for everyone, religious people and people who have no religious affiliation. The festival is not ecumenism. We are not having an ecumenical service. Neither it is a unification of churches in Jamaica. And I want to emphasize that clearly, because what has been happening among a number of persons, because just this morning I was on a radio program and the idea of ecumenism came up. And it is something that persons are misunderstanding, because on one hand it is a bit fluid. People use it for various meanings at various times. But the Adventist Church sticks to the original meaning of ecumenism and is not a part of it, because the original idea behind it is for one world church. In fact, the meaning of ecumenism is the inhabited world, bringing all religions together. And our church could never be a part of that. It is plainly a celebration of our religious freedom, and all who enjoy it are invited to attend and participate. It is like inviting your neighbor to a program or a function or even over for dinner. We are inviting everyone because everyone benefits and everyone can celebrate this freedom that we have. So this freedom is almost a part of the Jamaican culture. So come make we celebrate our right, our freedom. Let freedom reign.